Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a little bit of a rainy day here. Getting some things done, going to the gym in a little while, and just felt like this was the time to do my little weekend chat video, whatever you want to call it. Today we're going to talk about return of the feminine. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now. Click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. You guys bear with me today. This is the first video I'm doing with my new microphone. I actually did the whole video a few minutes ago, but I had it somehow where I had it, my beard was like rubbing against it and made this kind of weird noise. So I've got it where I don't think I'll have any interference, but it is pretty sensitive. So probably when I crinkle the paper a little bit, you might hear it. Anyhow, this is a subject that has resonated with me for a long time, the wisdom of it, and I've just kind of acknowledged this. And when I came across this article in Light of Consciousness, I like this little magazine. It's a really nice magazine. It just really resonated. Nice photo there with the article. So I'm just going to read it to you and maybe expand on it a little bit. The feminine holds the mystery of creation. This simple and primordial truth is often overlooked, but at this time of global crisis, which also carries the seeds of a global transformation, we need to reawaken to the spiritual power and potential of the feminine. Without the feminine, nothing new can be born, nothing new can come into existence. We will remain caught in the materialistic images of life that are polluting our planet and desecrating our souls. We see around us a world being destroyed by greed and consumerism, and feel within us the hunger of our soul for a way of life that acknowledges the sacred within all of life. And deeper, there is a cry of the soul of the world, the primal cry that comes from the depths of creation when the divine light that belongs to life is being lost. At this time, we need to reclaim what has been denied, what has been abandoned in the pursuit of our materialistic dreams. We need to return to the core of our being, to where the sacred comes into existence. And the mystical feminine holds the key to this work of redemption and transformation. The patriarchal era has denied women access to their real power. The patriarchy systematically repressed the power of the goddess and the mystical teachings of the feminine. And yet this wisdom is still present, just as is the deep knowing every woman has of the interconnectedness of all life. And every woman carries in her spiritual centers the sacred light of creation. Without this life, she could not conceive and give birth. She could not participate in the greatest mystery of bringing a soul into life, giving the spiritual light of a soul a physical form out of the substance of her own body. Men do not have this sacred life within them in the same way. They have to purify and transform themselves to gain access to it. For a woman, it is always present. But women have to recognize their true spiritual nature and the transformative potential they carry within them, so that they can offer it back to life. For without its light, the world will slowly die. The world needs the presence of women who are awake to their spiritual light, and who can work with the substance of life in order to heal and transform it. The last era has created a separation between matter and spirit, and so matter has forgotten its sacred nature, its ability to transform. Life itself has become caught in the abusive thought forms of the masculine that seek to dominate through power. You can see that. You can see that in the world everywhere. Life needs to be freed of these constrictions, and matter itself needs to be reconnected to its spiritual potential. This is a work that belongs to women, to those who know the sacred nature of life and how to bring light into matter, just as they instinctively know how to bring a soul into this physical world. For a woman, the physical and spiritual worlds can never be separate. She carries the light of the world within the cells of her body. Her sexuality is a sacred offering to the goddess. But she needs to consciously recognize this divine potential and deep knowing so that she can live it in service to life and the need of the time. Qualities of feminine wisdom. There are many different qualities of feminine wisdom, from the understanding of the healing power of herbs to the deep-lived knowledge of the feminine nature of the soul's relationship with God, the soul's true state of receptivity to the divine. So many of these qualities have been lost. So many priestesses have been killed, wise women burned, and yet the real wisdom remains, because it belongs to life itself. In the cells and in the soul of every woman, this ancient knowing is waiting to be awakened, so that once again the sacred feminine can make her contribution, can help the world come alive with love and joy. Women know the wisdom of receptivity, of holding a sacred space. They can experience this in their bodies through the wonder of pregnancy. But the sacred feminine also knows how this works within the soul, how within the heart love and longing create a space for the divine to be born. Rumi describes this eternal mystery of longing. Sorrow for his sake is a treasure in my heart. My heart is light upon light, a beautiful Mary with Jesus in the womb. The feminine mysteries of love, the sanctity of longing, the receptivity of the heart that is always awake, awaiting for her beloved, for that moment when love comes secretly and sweetly, need to be reclaimed and honored. Only through receptivity can we give birth to the divine as a living presence within ourselves and within our life. Women also know the importance of being rather than doing. We are addicted to activity and have lost access to the primal power that comes from the still center of ourself. We think that the problems of the world and of ourselves can only be solved through doing, not realizing that it is the focus on ceaseless activity that has created much of our present imbalance. Rather than always asking, what should I do? We can learn to reflect, how should I be? From this quality of being, we listen, are attentive, and aware. Through this simple but essential attitude, balance can return and a natural healing take place. Just as a mother instinctively knows how to listen to her children so that she can respond to their real needs, so does the sacred feminine know how to listen inwardly and outwardly to life, to experience and participate in this sacred mystery of which we are a part. Then we can make a real relationship to life and to our soul, learn to live the life of the soul rather than the illusory life of the ego. An understanding of relationships belongs to the feminine. Feminine wisdom understands the way connections between people and the interconnectivity of life itself hold something essential. Without these connections, life cannot sustain itself. The sense of separation and isolation that our masculine culture has created is damaging and deeply painful. Because women are closer to creation than men are, they are more awake to the sorrow of the earth and can hear more clearly its cry of despair as our present culture continues to desecrate and pollute it. They know this cannot continue much longer, that the light that belongs to life's sacred nature is being lost, and that without this light, nothing new can be born. There can be no transformation of life or human consciousness. The innate wisdom of the feminine is needed to repair the damage we have done and to reconnect with what is sacred and essential within ourselves and within life. We need to understand our part within the sacred web of life and how to relate once again to this primal wholeness that is a direct expression of the oneness of the divine. It may be painful to be fully present, to hold this sacred connection with life, the earth, and our own soul. But without the presence of the sacred feminine and those who honor it within themselves, an essential substance will be lost to life. The spark of the divine that the spark of the divine that connects the creation to the creator. The spark that holds the mystery of creation and the divine purpose of everything, every butterfly, every stone, the laughter of every child, and every lover's tear will begin to dim. Let's fast forward to the need of the time. To be aware of the divine within oneself and the divine within life and the world, and to know that it is all one, is a simple and powerful practice. It means to be present in life as it is, not as one would want it to be. And it means to live in the moment. There can be no transformation in the images of the past or the dreams of the future. Yet we are conditioned to look to the past and the future, rather than daring to live in the now. But only in the now can we participate in the creative mystery of life. Alive in the present moment, one can see the significance of newly forming patterns of relationship and the way in which they belong to life's organic nature, an Indra's net of dynamic possibilities. All around us, there are signs of life recreating itself in new configurations as people begin to come together in new and different ways. The internet and other tools of global communication are an essential part of this process, connecting people together regardless of the barriers of race, nationality, or physical location. Different people in all parts of the world are linking together, forming networks of shared interest, networks outside the control of any hierarchy or government, belonging to life itself. And these patterns of connections are growing, but we have yet to fully understand that it's these patterns of relationship themselves that are so essential, that will provide the simple answers to the complexity of the times. Their deepest meaning and purpose lie not in the information they convey, but in the new, fluid, organic interrelationship of individuals and groups they are creating. Something is coming alive in a new way. While masculine analytic consciousness sees only the separate parts, feminine consciousness sees the whole pattern, and thus allows us to recognize what is really happening, to grasp the meaning of these fast-forming patterns, and understand their sacred purpose within their seemingly mundane appearance. To know these signs as all a part of the organism of life recreating itself from the matrix of global oneness. And through this awareness, a spiritual energy can be given to these patterns of relationship, an energy that is needed for life to transform. On its own, life evolves slowly over millennia, but the light of consciousness dramatically speeds up this natural process, just as a catalyst accelerates the process of chemical transformation. Through the light of direct feminine knowing, life can quickly reconnect with its own divine nature, and the divine can transform life in ways that we cannot imagine. With our own ordinary consciousness, we cannot heal and transform the world of the effects of our pollution. It would take too long to redeem what we have destroyed. But the presence of the divine can awaken the world to its magical and miraculous power. If we welcome the divine back into life, if we acknowledge her divine nature, then we can participate in life's recreation, in the miracle that is awaiting to happen. Women know the suffering of the world and also the secrets of its transformation. They feel this suffering in the cells of their body. And in the cells of their body lie also the sacred light and instinctual wisdom that are needed to help the world to change and awaken. How each woman lives this knowing is unique to herself, but connections are being created now that are an organic part of life's regeneration. Some of these are connections between awakened individuals and groups through which the light of the sacred feminine can flow, communicating the primal mystery of how the divine can come alive within creation. The ancient mysteries of the feminine were never written down, but passed from woman to woman. As this wisdom resurfaces, once again women will create connections of light that honor what is sacred within themselves and within life. They will not deny the suffering of the world, but recognize it as a part of the process of transformation. The divine enters through a wound. Each age comes alive in its own way. We are entering an era of oneness in which we have to return to the sacred source of life that is within each of us. We each have to recognize our own divinity, and from this point of light, make our unique contribution. And yet we are also one, part of an interrelated body of light we call the world. And in the core of creation, a new light is being born, a light that carries the secrets of the future and of how the real miracle of life can once again be recognized and revered. This is the gift we are being given, the child of the future that is being born to each of us. And we are also the midwives of this destiny, this joy that is being returned to us, the primal joy of life, celebrating its divine nature. Through the wisdom of the feminine, we can all, each in our own way, give birth to this future. Now, the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, whatever you want to call it, this thing has resonated with me for a long, long time. The masculine energy in the world has been too strong. It's been out of balance for millennia now. The masculine energy has not done a great job with it. Going back to that little piece on the patriarchal way that the world is set up, that has been set up. That's not by circumstance. That's not by coincidence. It's been set up to repress what I consider a lot of this important and sacred knowledge here. So, it resonates. Now, I've talked about a lot before on here that I don't follow anybody. I'm a leader, but if I'm more likely to follow somebody, I would be much more likely to follow feminine wisdom. I would be more likely to look to a female, feminine energy of leadership than I would to the male, because it very much resonates with me. So anyhow, I don't ask to share a lot of videos, but the ones that get this video, the females especially, but males too, the ones that actually really get this, but you females that know this, that know your power, share this, share it around, start expressing that power, start getting tuned into that power, and get ready for what's to come, because I truly believe that, and that's why, like I say, this article really resonated with me, that I truly believe the only real change that's going to come to this planet, that's going to come into the life forms on this planet, is through the feminine. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this little weekend chat. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.